types itself these days. I type it so much. Just that and taxation is theft. My phone just knows what's coming next. When I hit T, it's like taxation, and then is theft.
Hey, so where was his accident at?
Down here, it was between here and Polly's, from what I can gather. I could be wrong. It could be further down. Like I'm not 100% sure.
It wasn't like the newspaper said, the Horry Georgetown County line. That's what the newspaper said, and I was trying to figure out where it was.
Well, there was another wreck
That morning
that happened that was somewhere around here, but I didn't know if it was that one. I heard happened way down, but I could, like I said, I could be wrong. I heard that was a tree, that he hit a tree, but I heard the one up here was like at a bar or something like that, or like in the road.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I don't really know, but either way, it's a shitty situation, man.
Is. Yeah, I did his pest control.
Man.
Him and Stacy's.
He was a good dude, man. He was a real good dude. All right, we're shared and we're all up, so I'm gonna hit hot on audio. I did the whole thing yesterday, and I got the video up and running and forgot to hit record on the audio, and I just forgot to hit record, so I had to go back afterwards and replay the video over and record the audio from the video that I did. But which is cool because I get the same mix on the video.
Right.
So anyway, hey guys, how you living out there? You're doing really fucking good because you're doing good. I want you to. I'm willing that in your lives. I'm willing that you're doing good. Brother Jason in the house. Talk about some sports.
What up?
Tell them all about it. So it's funny. I hadn't mentioned this to you yet, purposely because I want to get your first take on it. Me and your buddy Asher Robinson were talking the other day about if Georgia beat Alabama, he believed that Alabama shouldn't even make it in the top 4. What are your thoughts on that?
They would have made it. They would have been a number 4. Doesn't matter. I mean,
yeah, I believe they would have made it. I gotta stop. I gotta cut that off. That phone, but yeah, they would have made it 100%. I think. Well, do you think they should have?
Absolutely, because here's the thing that you got to go with Alabama. Okay, Alabama played 13 games on the year.
Yeah,
they played a championship game. They were down playing against Georgia, and they fought back. Now I will tell you this: if Georgia would have went in there and beat them by 3 touchdowns.
That would have been bad.
Been in a different situation. But Alabama fought back. Man, here's the thing. You got a team that's been in the playoffs for how many years now?
The entirety of its existence.
So how can you take them as an undefeated team and they lose their very last game and kick them out, man? That's just like going back,
Yeah.
Going back and saying that how did Clemson make the playoff last year?
After the loss to
Syracuse. Yeah. How did they make it the year before? The year they won the national championship.
With Pitt.
Losing to Pitt at home.
Yeah. That's the thing, man.
So
How do you do that? You can't put them in. Yeah, you're right. And I said the same thing. I was like, dude, you can't leave them out. I was like, but his argument is, if you want to make it, then don't lose.
Well, here's all right. So this is what it's going to boil down to. The committee is going to have to start looking at it, and it's possibly going to get looked at this year of expanding the playoff. Just for the simple fact is that you have people crying out Notre Dame shouldn't have been in there. Let me tell you what. Notre Dame ran their schedule. Notre Dame beat some.
They've got one of the toughest schedules.
They beat some talent. I mean, at the time, Stanford was ranked like number 7th in the nation when they beat them.
Yeah.
They beat Syracuse. Clemson beat Syracuse. They went to the West Coast. Not saying USC was anything because USC had a down year, but they beat USC.
That counts.
Yeah, I mean,
Does it help them at all to not have to play a conference championship though?
Absolutely, because I think if Notre Dame was in a conference, which they play in the ACC in basketball, so why not put them in?
Yeah.
But who in their right mind is going to give up that kind of contract with NBC?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, why should they?
Every single game is televised.
Exactly. They're getting paid.
Yeah.
So they're not going to. Now, if you want to talk about how are they going to stand up against Clemson, I mean, hey.
It could be a good game, man.
I absolutely think it could be. Passing-wise, Clemson's secondary is terrible.
Yeah.
And if there's a person out there that can prove me wrong, so be it. Prove me. Because I'm going to tell you, I mean, I just think that, South Carolina put up what? An eternity in yardage on them?
Yeah, a game of Jake Bentley's life for
Right,
sure.
right.
Like,
I mean, we were literally, I mean, of course, we can always say South Carolina fans were happy with the outcome. But you know what? I mean, we played. I went in that game knowing that we were going to get beat. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than what it was. Point spread, I could care less about it because point spread don't do nothing for me.
yeah.
It don't do nothing for in the stat book. But I will tell you this. My national championship this year is going to be Alabama and Clemson all over again. Because Oklahoma, geez, unless they do something to recruit some defenders between now and
They're
then.
not, yeah, Oklahoma doesn't have the depth for one. And, man, I don't know, man. Notre Dame could come in and surprise everybody.
Hey,
Because, listen, man, has Clemson played anybody as good as Notre Dame this year?
no.
And they've had a lot less good teams than Notre Dame, like scare the fans.
Right.
And I don't believe that that's going to be any different. I think that this is 100% going to be a very close matchup between two.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the point spread opened up like at 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of high for, because let me tell you what, what do they get? A little over a month to prepare for who they're playing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like Oklahoma, Alabama. I think Oklahoma will come out and put some points up. Don't get me wrong, but I just think at the end of the day, I think that Alabama is just too tough. And look what Alabama did to Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia had them on the Georgia.
100% on the ropes.
They could have.
That game went exactly just like the national championship did. The only difference was Tua and Jalen switched spots.
There you go.
That's but it was a replay of the national championship. They beat the shit out of us the entire championship, and we came back and won.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, Georgia's not as good as what people put them out to be.
Oh, but man, they played damn good in those last two games against us.
No, absolutely. But I'm just saying they're not. They're not what they should be. I tell you what. I think Georgia would play a better matchup than
anybody else in the top three.
But
I agree.
Georgia had 2 losses. So how can you put?
You can't put them in. And if anybody else, who I know they've played nobody and at all,
Right.
but UCF, I want to see UCF play somebody.
You know what? I was hoping the committee would just throw them in there just for the hell of it.
Shit, that would have been so good.
Just so that they can see, and I'm not saying they can't compete. It's just like last year. They took it to Auburn, man. I mean, and I'm not saying there's no way that they're going to compete with Alabama. There's no way they're going to compete with Clemson. Oklahoma, man, I'm telling you what, man, me and you and whoever else could go out there and throw the ball and probably score in Oklahoma. Now, whether we could stop Oklahoma is a different story.
Yeah, Kyle Murray's a monster.
He is.
And that's going to be something we're going to have to deal with, like, in a big way. Right? That worries me a little bit, just because Alabama isn't used to having teams just run the score up on them. Like Oklahoma could do that. They could.
They could, but I think Alabama's defense is too quick to.
Yeah, he'll probably throw a couple picks for sure.
Absolutely. I just think Alabama's too physical. Like I said, close game, halftime, and then just like in the Georgia game, Alabama's going to come out, figure it out, and.
Yeah, now, random, going back to this a little bit. Do you remember who the last team was that beat UCF? 2015.
Alabama?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. At South Carolina. Isn't that when?
That was when when their win streak started, was that next game. I'm pretty sure.
And wasn't Bortles still?
I think so.
Because I think that was the last time when we played them.
Yep.
But here, just like you said, man. I mean, UCF, they haven't played. They played one team. They played Auburn. They took Auburn to the woodshed.
Dude, to be honest with you, other than that fluke game last year, Auburn ain't been shit for since Cam Newton.
Right.
And I mean, and they try to sit there and say we just got gussed. Like they're trying to make that a term. The people calling the game said you just got gussed. Like
Right.
that ain't real. That ain't a term.
Well, I will tell you this just real quick. Your boy Jalen Hurts, you have to give it up for him, man.
Dude,
He could have.
I cried. I cried, man. I ain't gonna lie. When I saw Nick Saban get an interview,
he could have walked away, man. He could have walked away.
he could have Kelly Bryant did that
Yeah.
shit. He could have done and what you were saying beforehand, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, there was a lot that he could have done.
He stuck in there and he came through at the right time. I mean, now here's the question that you ask yourself, and now I don't know the severity of what's his Tua or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
his injury or not, but with Hurst playing so well to bring that team back, I mean,
I think he has to start.
he has to start
I
against
think
Oklahoma.
he has to start against Oklahoma. I think that to start Tua over Jalen Hurts right now, after all that Jalen's been through,
Right.
I mean, he lost 2 games. Now, granted, they were, they were games that you want to win, but Jalen Hurts has lost 2 games in his career. One of them was a national championship against Clemson.
Right.
One of them was that game against Auburn.
Right.
Like, those are 2 games that you really want to win, but you can't shake your head to losing a rivalry game or losing a national championship to a really, really good Clemson team.
Right. So let me ask you this question: is he there next year?
I don't know if he's there next year. But I think that, not on that, because I think that Tua's little brother's coming up next year. I think he's a senior this year, right?
Right, but I mean, if Alabama's smart, they got that one kid that don't they have another kid?
Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, here's the thing, man. Hurst, he's got one more year eligibility left.
Get that experience.
Yeah, I mean, you're already looking at. I mean, they just released. How ESPN always releases. Way too soon Heisman candidates for next year.
Yeah.
So you have Tua again. They got Hurst out there. They got Murray again. And I think the running back from Clemson.
ETN.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, kudos to Hurst for sticking it out. I mean, like you said, Kelly Bryant could have. He could have just sat out there and
He could have done the same thing because
right.
what was boy Trevor Lawrence got hurt in like week 1 or 2 or something like that.
The week that Kelly Bryant left, the very next week he got knocked out, and that's when you're the Superman Bryce or whatever his name is. Everybody thought he was God walking on earth, and
sunshine.
Yeah, because he brought him back. I mean, the kid that came in, which to me, I think that was against Syracuse. To me, the kid drove him downfield 93 yards, freshman or not, but your damn running back had like almost 300 yards rushing that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you can't give a quarterback credit for that.
right.
But the thing that gets me, though, is that you get these players who don't, like, you got a lot of people looking up to you. Like, there's a lot of kids that are looking up to you. Like, and I'm so proud of what Jalen did. And hanging around when he could have left, like he could have went somewhere else, man. He literally that's almost like getting your ass beat in public, like by getting your ass cut in public and you in front of all your friends, and like when your mom yells at you or something like that in public, and like it just really fucking embarrasses you.
Right.
Like the most embarrassing thing that could have happened to him.
Yep.
And he chose to stick around. And look at what it did for him. Look at the praise that he's getting now in his career, and obviously that's going to say a lot to an NFL team that might draft him. Like, at least we know he'll stick around if something goes south.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the like you said, getting back to the whole should Alabama made it if they would have lost or whatever. You kind of take a look at Ohio State. They lost one game to Purdue. Okay.
Yeah.
Purdue was playing good ball at the time. They go on. They run the table. They hand it to Michigan. I mean, they just
how has he got a job still?
Man,
but that's beside the point.
I don't know. I mean, it's who else are you going to get to come in there? But you ask yourself, okay. So this is what I want to ask you about Saban real quick. All right. Getting a little bit onto the NFL side and the college side.
Yeah.
All right. You got a lot of our NFL slots opened up. You got Green Bay opened up. You got Cleveland opened up. Who else we got opened up? Isn't there another team that's been head coach been fired?
Not that Hugh Jackson got fired at Cleveland, obviously. Yeah, you said that.
And then Green Bay. I don't know. So this is the thing that I was just curious. Just listen to local talk radio, what have you. Drive around in the morning time, and even in the evening times. Nick Saban's name came up for Green Bay.
Yeah.
It was just mentioned. Okay. Hey, you think he'll do it?
No.
Why not?
Because the last time he tried the NFL, it didn't work out so well for him.
But you got to ask yourself, where'd he go last time?
Miami.
Okay.
He was with Miami.
Okay.
And granted, he didn't have an Aaron Rodgers.
Not right.
But he also has worked a really long time to establish this college game, and he is dominating it. Now, would he want to maybe switch it up a little bit? Is he getting bored winning so much?
Gotta be.
People ask him all. Do you remember that interview that he gave that one time? It's like, does it ever get old? Does it ever just get old? You get bored? He's like, what, winning? And then all of a sudden, the thug life glasses dropped or whatever. It's like, does he get sick of winning? He probably gets a little bored with, I don't know, but does he?
Oh, you got to. But here's the thing, okay? You've already accomplished what you need to accomplish in Alabama.
Yeah,
okay?
I will say that for the sake of the game, somebody else needs to step in.
Man, it'd be a great challenge for him. I think after they win the national championship this year, and yes, I will say Alabama's going to win it. I mean, I can't say Tigers or anything like that. I'm going to have to say Alabama. But why not step down and go take over the Browns position, man? Hell, you got those guys 2-3 years out of college.
Yeah.
Be the head coach of the Browns.
You see, what's funny is I kind of side with the Browns a little bit. I would pick the Browns as my NFL team if I had to pick one, just because they ain't never won shit.
Right. Yeah, dude, they still got a chance to win the North right now.
Yeah. And if they do, then that'd be probably the biggest thing that's ever happened in Cleveland. I mean, even outside of LeBron winning the shit there, the championship. Just if the Browns make it to the playoffs, I think that might be bigger than LeBron winning a championship.
Okay.
For the city of Cleveland.
Right.
I'm just spitballing, but honestly, I've said it for years. Of course, I don't want to think about the fact of Nick Saban not coaching in Alabama as an Alabama fan. But as a sports fan, I have to say, yeah, it would be nice to make college football fun to watch again. Now, the other day, I made a statement. We were playing a gig at Dead Dog, and Smitty was there. I was talking to Seth Fundenberg. I said, dude, won't you be glad when LeBron James is out of the league so that we can finally get back to basketball? And Smitty spoke up and was like, that's exactly how I feel about Alabama and college football. And I was like, I get it. But if you look at the last couple of weeks in the NFL, is Alabama not making the NFL more fun to watch?
Oh, I mean, yeah. All right. On that case, you are right. Absolutely right. But here's the thing that Alabama struggles with when it comes to NFL, and that's putting quarterbacks out there.
Oh, Jesus. Well, but because we haven't never really needed one.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying.
Tua Tagovailoa will be the best quarterback Alabama has ever had in 30 years from now, probably.
Yeah, I mean, who was it?
Joe Namath.
Who was the white dude that came out of not too long ago?
A.J. McCarron, Greg McElroy.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, one of the dudes is being a broadcaster right now or something. But I think it would, to me, if I won how many ever national championships at Alabama, I have nothing else to prove to anybody. Why not just say, hey, man, this is it. After the national championship, this is it. I'm going to step down and then explore your options. Because you know why I say that? I'm ready to get that jackass out of Clemson.
Oh, you ready to? Because Dabo's going to go to Alabama?
I'm so ready, man.
But see, man, I'm thinking I used to think that Dabo was a good coach, but now I just don't know if it's as much Brett Venables. And two, if it wasn't just Dabo got really super lucky with having Deshaun Watson and Mike Williams and, these.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I remember the day, okay, whenever they fired Bowden. I remember the day as period. I mean, just plain as day, okay? And then they named Dabo Swinney the intern. And I'm not lying to you, man. You would not believe the people, they're just doing the intern. I hope they get so-and-so, so-and-so. And then they named Dabo Swinney the head coach. I'll never forget people just ranting and raving and raising hell. Oh, I can't believe they're naming this clown the coach, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm ready for his ass to go back to the circus because, man, his recruiting, once he got his recruits in there.
That's where he shines.
Once he got his recruits going in there and they're rolling now, dude, South Carolina, man, I'm telling you right now, we're definitely way back on them. I mean, we don't have.
Yeah, I mean, the 5. Now you both got a 5 in a row ring.
We do, and people after the Clemson Carolina game this past Thanksgiving. Okay,
yeah.
I mean, I sat there and reading on Facebook and everything, and I'm just as much as a trash talker as anybody else. You know what?
Yeah.
Deep down, I knew we were going to get it handed to us. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than what it was. But people put on Facebook, man, our defense was out. If we'd have had all of our starters on defense, we would have probably beat them. We could have beat them. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This is college football, man.
Yeah.
They give out how many scholarships? When somebody gets hurt, guess what? It's next man up.
Yep.
You should know how to play the game of football.
Exactly. You've been there. You made it to where you are now. You
Right.
want to know what you're fucking doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see that. And now, I don't know that I would mind having Dabo in Alabama just for the sake of that's where he played. He probably – I've said for years that he'll end up going to Alabama. But I've almost – over at least the last year or two, I've sort of thought, is it him or is it Brett Venables?
Man, it goes, all right, so you have a team that returns this year, okay? All right, You had 3 guys on that defensive side of the ball that were almost guaranteed. I know one of them was a guaranteed top 5 pick, okay?
Yeah.
Wilkinson. He's a guaranteed top 5 pick in the draft this past year, okay? All right, he decides to come back. So that goes it's either got to say something about a booster's pocketbook or it's got to say something about Dabo Swinney. I think it's more about Dabo Swinney. He's a great coach. I'm not,
Yeah. That wouldn't be bad. It would be fun to. I guess what I'll say about it as an Alabama fan, I've got enough winning.
Right.
We've won enough in my lifetime to last me for the rest of my lifetime. Now, granted, we could if we never win again, yeah, that'll fucking suck. But I've been a Braves fan for most of my life too, so I'm pretty good at not winning too.
Right.
I'm used to it.
Well, you just gotta have to adapt that saying, as this Gamecocks say. Well, I guess we just gotta wait till next year.
Yeah,
there's always next year.
There's always next year, and we'll get them again.
That's it.
Cleveland would be that'd be a nice challenge for him for sure.
Because here's the thing.
They'd probably be able to. I don't know if Cleveland can afford to pay him what Alabama can pay him.
Right, but what I think is with Cleveland, you got your quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. Baker Mayfield might be a little dick,
dude.
The boy can ball.
They have been in every single game that they have lost this year. They've been in it.
The game they lost against the Chargers, you might as well put that on the refs, man, because the NFL came out. They said it should have never went to overtime. It was an official mistake that cost Cleveland the game to go into overtime.
Yeah.
They got talent, man. You got Jarvis Landry. You got that Myles Garrett from A&M. Your defense is stacked. You got guys that can run the ball. Shit, why not, man? Go ahead, Saban, get out of here. Roll.
They just haven't gotten a break yet.
Burn the road, Saban.
Bro. But see, I wonder if his style of coaching will transfer. Just because I'm pretty sure that he was coaching that Miami Dolphins team where they won 2 games.
Right.
And that was just, I don't know that he wants to try to repeat that. And also I do believe that we extended his contract last year for another 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. Somehow. I don't know where that's coming from. But anyway. Yeah, I think we extended his contract. But, dude, I'm sure that if he wanted to get out of it, it ain't going to hurt his pocket none. He's done fine. With all those national championship bonuses he's gotten in the last, 5, he's gotten 5 championships in the last, how many years?
A lot. well, what, 5 championships in, 6 years?
Yeah, almost.
Because they
5
won.
championships in 7 years, I
7
believe.
years.
He won 1 with LSU.
Right.
He's got 6. He's tied Bear Bryant now. If he gets another one this year, he's the winningest college coach in the history of college football.
Well, real quick, just how about old Les Miles?
Going to
Kansas.
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 Dude, they've been trying to say that Kansas is a football school for like the last 2 or 3 years now.
Dude. Holy cow.
Is he going to do anything there? It'll take him a little bit to get his recruits in, but I mean,
man, when you think of Kansas, you just don't think of a football school.
nah. But they've been trying to make that push. And same with Kentucky. They've been trying to say that Kentucky's a football school over the last. And Kentucky showed up this year.
Yes, they did, and they'll keep on showing. I was just watching today. They landed a couple of decent recruits. I mean, look at North Carolina.
Yeah.
Dude, they didn't even let the man get back to the school before he was fired. Now who they got coming in there? Mac Brown.
Oh, Mac Brown.
Starting off where,
Tejas.
there you go.
Mac Brown won a championship in Texas with Colt McCoy.
Yes.
Well, Colt McCoy went out. He got hurt in that game.
It was Vince Young again in USC, right? Texas and USC.
Yeah, that one too. But Colt McCoy won that. Nah, he won another one in. Was that the USC game?
I know Vince Young scored with
Yo, that's right. That's
right side to the QB sweep
Because Texas was winning that whole game, and Colt McCoy went out.
with a hurt foot, leg, or something, just like he did this year with the Redskins.
Yeah. Oh man. How about that? How about Kirk Cousins though? How about that money he's getting?
And he's the most overpaid. Let me tell you right now, man. Okay. I just watching the game last night. Just doing a little fantasy football and stuff. You're just sitting up watching the game. And when you're sitting up watching the game and you just look at this quarterback, man, I mean, how the hell do you pay somebody $65 million
to do that?
Yeah.
To go out there and do that. Dude, yeah, I don't get it.
I mean, you put up 7 points and you didn't score your 7 points until it was a touchdown by Davin Cook running up the middle. Come on.
Dude, that was the most that game should have been like you look at it and it's like only 3-0, but it totally was like
they didn't score no points until 6 minutes to go into. Well, I mean, it was 3-0, but then they didn't really start scoring
it should
until
have
the fourth
been
quarter.
like at least felt like 17-0.
Yeah, I mean, just like Russell Wilson, right there before halftime, they're down there at the goal line with 20-something seconds to go, and he's getting ready to get sacked, and he just turns and thinks he's throwing it to the sideline. Well, then he throws it right into the Vikings, defender,
Is that all right? So Seattle has a bad habit of making the worst decisions at the goal line.
Same thing I was thinking last night whenever he threw that interception.
They make the worst decisions at the goal line, man. Like
It's Pete Carroll, man.
Why?
Chewing that gum and you dang
He don't. You got. I'm gonna say it again. I've said this. I believe probably in every sports podcast that I've ever done. You got the best running back in the NFL, and you gonna throw the ball when all you need is 2 yards. Make Marshawn Lynch retire,
and then make him come back as a damn Raider.
Oh God! You know what? I hope the Raiders lose. I'm sorry, Raiders fans. I hope Raiders lose every game that they play because I just hate John Gruden.
Do you?
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, just watching John Gruden, that was at a Monday night game, the Kansas City and where they had 17,000 points scored. Kansas City and who played in that game?
Nah.
Shit, it was a lot of points scored. Kansas City and somebody played.
You mean that the highest scoring game of all time? That was shit, who was that? I know what you're talking about. It wasn't the Raiders, though.
No. But I'm just saying, so I was watching. No, the Rams. Kansas City and the Rams.
That's right. That's right.
And the reason is how I was watching before every Monday night game comes on. Gruden, they do a rerun of his Gruden camp, his QB camp.
Yeah.
And they had golf on there, and they had Mahomes on there, man. And watching Mahomes, the video of Mahomes on there while I was sitting there watching it, they showed some of the first games he ever went into at Texas Tech. And the way he was underneath the quarterback, I mean, under the center, you're like, holy hell, what's this dude doing? I mean, he was literally leaning his head up against the center's ass.
Yeah.
And Gruden's like, man, what are you doing there? You know, he goes, man, just getting in there. You know, I had no clue what I was doing. And, you know, and then you take a look at this kid now and what he's doing in Kansas City.
Do you think that John Gruden is to thank for that?
No, I mean, I'm not saying to thank for that, but it's not something that me and you would sit back and watch a Texas Tech rerun of, them playing.
We don't notice that.
You wouldn't notice that.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess that's where the football smarts comes in with Gruden, you know, and I guess that's why he made millions of ESPN or doing whatever, you know.
But how you going to trade my boy Amari Cooper?
My man, listen.
But you a Dallas fan, so you feel differently about that.
No. I will tell you, when we first traded a first-round pick for Amari Cooper, I'm like, he played before. When we traded for him this year, he played 2 first-round games this year.
You don't mind so much no more, though, right?
Absolutely not, because here's the thing: is I think by them getting rid of Khalil Mack,
Yeah.
I think it kind of put a bad taste in a lot of their mouths in Oakland. Amari Cooper came to Dallas. We need a receiver.
Yep.
Gruden's cleaning house. Hell, they just fired the GM the other day.
Amari's head and shoulders better than Dez ever was.
Right, and Dez signs a contract with the Saints. He goes for practice, and bam, knee gone.
Immediately.
Gone.
I asked my dad. My dad's a Cowboys fan. I was like, "How hard did you laugh when Dez got hurt in practice?" And all he did was just laugh again.
Right. Well, you know, and let me tell you what, man. I had nothing against Dez. I think that why did they let him go so soon before having somebody come in? I don't know, because before Amari Cooper, shit, we haven't existed, man. I mean, we played Tennessee on Monday Night Football and got our asses handed to us. I mean, and that's a game that we should win. But now, I mean, we've reeled off 4 or 5 wins in a row. We beat the Eagles. Everybody thought that the Saints were just going to blow us out the water. That 8.5-point spread, everybody's like, they're going to kill that. They're going to beat Dallas by 3 touchdowns. Well, guess who didn't believe that? Me.
I think we had that conversation.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, but I will tell you this. I think Dallas's defense has literally started gelling. I mean,
it seems like they finally understand that. I think there was a lot of question marks on the board when you bring in, and I think that's what the problem with Dez was, is that he didn't like Dak. I think him and Dak weren't getting along like Tony Romo would have gotten along with Dez. Like,
right.
I think they were like.
I think Dak spreads the ball out more. I think he doesn't eye somebody.
Tony knew that the best that you could get out of Dez was to throw him the ball the most.
And then, you know, you had Jason Witten. I mean, it was Tony Romo. You know, Witten was Romo's safety valve.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, Dez, you either threw it halfway down the field, and if he hoped that he caught it. Now you get somebody in here like Amari Cooper. Shit, he had 200 plus yards Sunday. I mean, 3 touchdowns, touchdown in overtime, which I mean was kind of.
It's that Alabama water, man.
It was. I mean, hey, dude. I mean, shit. I don't know, man. Our defense, you know, we're playing like the old Dallas defense used to play with Leon Lett. You know, I mean.
Now, I've asked you this before. Has your answer still say the same? You would still take Dak over Tony Romo right now, or would you take Tony Romo over Dak?
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing: is I think Tony Romo is he was more accurate. Granted, big games he could not win the big games. Man, I remember playing Seattle first round of the playoffs. Romo's taking the snap out in Seattle to kick the field goal to win it. That's all we had to do was kick a field goal to advance on in the playoffs. Romo can't handle the snap. You know, there's just something about the playoff games or the big games that
Romo, he gets scared.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and then he's injury prone. He's kind of like Sean Lee. Reminds me of Sean Lee, man. You know what? If I could just have a one-on-one conversation with Jerry Jones, man, cut Sean Lee's ass. Cut him. Send him. Get him packing. I mean, he's injured. He misses at least 6 to 8 games a year. And then the kid that's in the spot, Vanderbosch, whatever his name is, that's filling in for him right now, the kid's playing lights out. And they're talking about when Sean Lee comes back, he'll come back in and start. Absolutely crazy. No way in hell.
That makes no sense to me when somebody comes in and does an outstanding job, and then you bring back in whoever it is playing, or like the same situation with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
How you gonna start Jameis Winston ever when Ryan Fitzpatrick is doing what he was doing, man? Like it seemed like the whole team was on his side. Like nobody
and
wanted
you're
to
right.
play with Jameis.
And they tried. I think they kept playing Fitzpatrick for a game or two after that, and Fitzpatrick had a he went to shit real quick, and then they brought Winston in just to switch some things. I mean, do you realize that Tampa Bay? I know going into this past weekend, Tampa Bay was the number one offense. I know they were a top 5 offense in the NFL
Going into this weekend with Jameis Winston.
with whoever the hell was quarterbacking. Whoever it is quarterbacking. I mean, because you got to think, man, they got some decent receivers. Mike Evans, the Goodwin kid, or whatever his name is, Deshaun Jackson when he can run. They're all there. So I mean, and it's kind of like New England. You take a look at New England, man. Shit, Brady's 104. Gronk's
at
like
least
92.
Yeah.
And what was the beauty about this weekend? They go down to Miami. They got the game won.
All they got to do.
They think
close the deal.
They think they're throwing a Hail Mary.
They put Gronk out there.
Yeah, and Gronk's like, "What the hell? I don't play defense." They put him out there because he's a tall guy supposed to swat the Hail Mary down or whatever. And they show a video. Fans show a video of him, just standing there, kind of like, "What do I do?" And then he takes off once Kenyon Drake gets past them. Just like Tiki Barber said today on the radio, man. All you got to do, run him out the sideline, run towards the sideline, and make his ass go out of bounds instead of standing there. Get up there and play the game.
Yeah. Tiki sees shit that not a lot of people sees too. Like
Right.
I listen to him. I listen to T and Tierney pretty regular. Dude, I don't understand what it is about Miami, but the Patriots always that year that they were undefeated, and everybody's like they may as well be undefeated all the way to the Super Bowl, and they'd already given them the ring pretty much.
Right. Yep.
They go down to Miami, get their asses beat. Same thing happens this time, but man, you see that play maybe 20 times. That play maybe works one time out of 20,
You're right, man.
and you may see it 5 times a season.
I forget the coach's name down in Miami.
I can't remember his name either.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, smart dude. I mean, they thought he was gonna throw the damn Hail Mary, and all he did was just a little,
Whole Tannehill.
just a little pass out, and then Kenyon Drake, he lateraled it, and then the other dude lateraled to Kenyon Drake, and man, he took off.
Kenyon Drake, the University of Alabama. By
My
the way.
man's fast, and that's what they told him. Is like, we brought you in here to win these kind of games, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, man. Miami, I mean, New England can go down. Now, take Miami up into New England, it's vice versa. New England will put, 50 on them.
Yeah.
But now when New England goes down there, you can always count on it's good. If New England wins, it's still going to be a close game.
Now, here's the thing. Is there any correlation between the fact that Miami is a giant party town and the fact that teams might not, or that they might not play so good down there? Like, what if they go down to Miami and they just end up just like partying or whatever and not really being in the game as much as they should be?
See, I don't know if I'm not sure if that have anything. I mean, because you got to think Josh Gordon. That's where he hit that. He killed that guy.
Yeah.
When he ran him over when he was drunk. Manslaughter or whatever he got charged with or something. I don't know. That's where he was at. He was down in Miami, down South Beach or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get some of these. I don't. That's a good question. I don't know, but I mean, Miami. They surely wasn't in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even watch it. The only thing I saw was the replay of that last play,
I know,
which is all you need to see, really.
That's it. I thought I had that game 1 in my pick'em league, and next thing I know, I turned back on to watch the highlights, and New England lost. But just real quick, let me get your opinion on something back to college football.
All right.
Some of these guys that are leaving early for the NFL, not playing in a bowl game.
You don't want to miss your opportunity to get optimal dollars, correct?
Right.
So what's your way to get optimal dollars is to basically show out in your last opportunity to do so, correct?
Right.
Why? That doesn't seem like the smartest decision for anything. And I know you're referring to your boy Debo.
Right.
Now, he was a stud player and I say was because we haven't seen a lot out of him. Don't you think that he needs to show what he's got, what he's capable of in every chance that he gets? Why is he not wanting to do this? And I'm seeing a lot of my friends on Facebook post this shit like want to just give a big thank you to Deebo Samuel. He's been a good Gamecock. And one of my buddies, CJ from back home, posted this shit the other day. And I'm sitting here thinking like, so he's eligible to play and choosing not to. Like that's not, this ain't the time to do shit like that. You want to make optimal dollars. You want to make as much money as you can make. You want to show them what you got. Or he ain't got it like he thought, or he ain't got it like everybody's making it out to be, and he don't want to get out there and show them that he ain't got it like he thought he did anymore. One of two things. What do you think? What do you think's going on in his head?
So this is the way I look at it, man. You know, I hate to see Deebo not playing the game. Just for the simple fact is because he's been electric. Last year, he did break a femur or whatever.
Yeah.
Fractured. Put him out for the year against Kentucky.
Yeah.
A lot of people are telling me, I read a Facebook post by somebody on Facebook that, they were like, I really thought highly of this young man this season. Great guy, great ball player. But now I take everything I said about him back. That was good. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Remember Willis McGahee?
Vaguely.
Miami Hurricanes, Ohio State, national championship. I think it was Fiesta Bowl. So I think it could have been before the BCS came out.
Yeah.
Or it might have been right when it came out. I don't remember. Blew his knee up in the national championship. Missed his whole first year. The whole first year of his pro career.
Okay.
So this is what you got to look at with coming from Deebo. And I don't care. I'll tell you right now. I think Deebo will be. I don't think he's going to be a 1 receiver. I think he could be a 2 or 3.
He ain't Alshon.
And he will be a special teams guy. Be a great special team. And he'll go top 2. He'll go in the top 2 rounds. One of the top 2 rounds. He's going to get paid. Don't get me wrong. So do you take a chance on going out there playing in, let's get this right now, a 3rd-tier bowl? We're not talking about a New Year's Day bowl.
Yeah, you're right.
We're talking about the Belk Bowl, okay, where you're going to get a $500 gift card to Belk, and you can go shopping, and you're going to get yourself a Fossil watch, and you're going to get pampered, okay?
Yeah.
Or you can go ahead and already commit to the NFL, hire you some people to train with, start training with them, and get yourself prepared for the combine and stuff like that. Because, and I had this guy that posted on Facebook. There was another guy that commented on it. And let me tell you what, man. Deebo didn't have to come out this year.
Yeah.
He could have went in the draft.
That's right.
I don't think he would have went in the first 2 rounds because I don't think he was able to prove himself. Okay?
Yeah.
And he's injury prone, man. I mean, he gets hurt. He's kind of like Brian Edwards for South Carolina, So I think he's smart for stepping away right now.
Okay.
I just would love to see him play one last game. So now,
I think the fans want that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And I hadn't thought about it from that aspect. If you're trying to preserve your body,
right,
that's not the dumbest thing to do. And I get that.
Right. Do you know where he takes most of his passes from? Do you know where he is most successful?
I don't pay attention to it
Okay,
much.
You don't pay attention to South Carolina Gamecocks, do you?
Not really.
Okay. He catches them in slanting across the field, man, and he's fast. Okay, so all it would take, man, is him coming across the middle, Bentley leading them on, and bam, somebody just clean his clock, and he breaks a leg, or but that's part of the game of the football.
Yeah.
And as a young kid, you dream of playing for a university. You dream of going to the NFL, and here's his chance to go. He doesn't want to get hurt. Now, this is what I hope doesn't happen, is I hope Brian Edwards doesn't go out there and he has like a 400-yard receiving game, which don't think will happen. And then he decides that he's good enough to go pro, because he's not.
Now, but you give Deebo all your blessings.
Oh no, absolutely. Let me tell you. I mean,
Okay.
The kid was great. He was 2nd team All-American. You got chosen second team All-American. I mean, that's
pretty big.
It's pretty good for the game clock. I mean, just look at Fournette. Fournette started all this shit.
Dude, listen, I was just about to say earlier. I think Travis Etienne is a Leonard Fournette of Clemson. I think he has the one really big blowout year, but then it comes back in time for him to shine when they're talking about his Heisman, and he has a Leonard Fournette year.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's just who all started sitting out. Fournette set out his bowl game. A guy argued me until he was blue in the face that Clowney started it. Clowney said, I was like, nah, bro. Clowney played Michigan, played Wisconsin, and then Clowney was done in the bowl games. I mean, after his junior year. And then Fournette the next year set out. I think either that same year or the year after, Fournette set out his bowl game because he didn't want to.
Now, I wonder if this is the sort of thing that people are telling these kids to do to preserve their careers.
I remember when Clowney was a junior at South Carolina, okay? I mean, Clowney was a freak of nature. He was hurt, but he's a freak of nature. And he still is. I mean, people say Clowney was hyped up. I mean, he had one big play against Michigan. I think the dude's head
the helmet's still in. Yeah.
So, but I mean, here's the thing. Golick. I remember listening to Mike and Mike when ESPN, used to play.
I remember that.
All right. Mike Golick says that Clowney should probably Greeny. I'm going to say Greeny. It was Greeny saying that Clowney should just go ahead and sit out the year. Sit out the year, get ready for the NFL, and then play in the NFL. And then Golick's like, are you crazy? He's like, this is what you come to college for.
Well, Greeny don't play, and Golick did.
Right. Golick's like, they wasted a scholarship on this kid.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to tell this kid to sit out? And that's where I think Spurrier got frustrated, started getting frustrated with that. I think it was against Vanderbilt when Clowney.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what? It is what it is. These guys, they see dollar signs. Now, if we want to talk about a national championship or one of these New Year's Day bowl games or something, and he decided to sit out, then of course
that's a big deal.
Right, but the Belk Bowl, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, I can get that. I hadn't really thought about it from that side yet, but that makes a little more sense than I was putting into it.
Right.
Man, there's a lot of shit. Okay, so you said earlier too, and I'm gonna try to wrap this up here in a second. I know I don't want to try to make this one too long, but you said earlier that that the committee will probably push to have a couple more teams in the playoffs next year, maybe, or as early as next year at least. How many more teams do you think there needs to be?
4.
There has to be 4 more teams to make the math right, correct?
Not really. I mean,
but if there is at least the 5 and 6 spots where you have a wild card team that can play in, how will that play out? Because you're gonna have an odd number of teams.
Okay, so my perfect scenario for a college playoff.
Well, not an odd number, but you know what I mean.
Right. I would say do 8. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So that way you give all 5 of your power conference champions a shot to be in it. Okay. They get automatic bid. You win you win your conference championship game, you're in.
Yeah.
All right. Then you'll take, for instance, Georgia. Okay. If there was 8 teams this year, do I think would Georgia make it in? Absolutely. If there was 8 teams, see, Ohio State would have got an automatic bid.
UCF would have gotten in.
Whoever the hell was out in the Pac-12, was that Washington or Washington State?
Yeah, Washington.
They would have got in.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Washington.
One of them would have got in. And then you take your 3 or your 6, 7, 8. You would take your 3 at large. That's where you would get Notre Dame. They ran the table. Then you can take people down from UCF. And then you go with your number 8 team. I think 8 would be perfect. Then you would do something. I mean, you could even set it up to where you can give your first 2 teams a bye.
Yeah.
And then
that would have to be the way it would go. You'd have to have your number 1 and number 2 teams would get a bye.
Right.
And that the math would work out that way.
Or you don't have to give them a bye.
If there were 6 teams, that would be the way to work it out.
Right.
But eight would work as well.
It's coming,
but it has to stop there.
Oh, it does.
There can't be any more than 8.
You can't,
because then it'll become what college basketball is now, and nobody gives a shit until the playoffs start.
Right. But I will tell you this right now. Can you imagine the money that would be made? On if they expanded, and all they have to do is just make it a Super Bowl weekend. I mean,
for sure.
You get the Super Bowl. Man, you could play the national championship the week before the Super Bowl because there's always that break in between.
That would be football all the way up into the Super
That's
Bowl.
it. You play the national
That would be
championship the week
ideal.
before the Super Bowl. Then
God, that would
you
be
got
awesome.
a whole week to get that field ready.
Yeah.
For the Super Bowl. Okay, so I mean, there's ways of doing it. It needs to be done because it's a crime. I mean, UCF, they do have an argument. Man, dude, they were getting their asses handed to them against Memphis.
Yep, they did.
And they came back, and I mean, I don't know if you've seen that kid, the quarterback for UCF.
I actually watched that game. I was sitting next to somebody who had money on that game. And I was like, dude, I hate that you got money on this, but I wanted Memphis to win.
Dude, but I mean,
so bad.
I took the over.
But well, you hit it.
Yeah, it was like 80-something when I took it, and I think they ended up scoring 100-something points. But I feel bad for that quarterback from UCF, man. They had
yeah.
Yeah, he was man.
This is his third year, right?
Oh, yeah, I think he and I don't know how true it would be. They said he says if they would have made the playoff that he would have came back to play. I don't know how he would have because they said they had to set his leg back in place there, or snap it whichever way because it was cutting off the blood circulation, the way it snapped. So he was getting no blood flow to the bottom of the leg. But you know what, man? All it is college football. You put your helmets on, man, any given day. That's why you can't take nothing away from Notre Dame going up against Clemson. You really can't sleep in Oklahoma because they're going to put points up.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
Now,
I think that's going – they'll probably come out and score first.
Right.
They'll probably come out and score first. They might even go up by a couple. It'll scare the shit out of a lot of Alabama fans. I believe we'll win that game, but I believe that it's going to scare the shit out of a lot of us for a little bit.
Right. So I mean, and then Notre Dame, they're gonna. I guarantee you, Kelly, he's gonna have those boys. I mean, they already know what they're doing. They're gonna come out and they're gonna go deep on Clemson. Because you can't run it against them.
No.
I mean, you're gonna throw against them, but you can't run it against them. So we'll see what happens. I'm just saying, Clemson, Alabama national championship. I'd love to see a Notre Dame
again.
I'd rather see a Notre Dame Alabama championship, but
you never know.
You never know.
We will know for sure here in a couple of weeks, though.
And just make sure you watch out for my Cowboys.
Them Cowboys, y'all moved into that number one spot with that nail biter the other night.
Yes, sir.
I watched that game next to a Cowboys fan, brother Timmy Pierce out there. Yeah, man. I don't know. I feel so bad. I feel so bad for. I don't know. I feel so bad for the fans. I feel so bad for the Cowboys fans. Y'all, just because I know what Cowboys do in the playoffs.
We choke, man.
I know how it happens. And y'all are looking so good right now and you're getting so much hope. And I don't want it to my dad's a Cowboys fan, man. I don't want him to just get all his hopes up and
you know what, man? And I'll tell you, I'm a South Carolina kid. Born and raised.
Yes,
I'm a Carolina fan. How I became a Dallas Cowboy fan, I don't know. I don't know if it was the cheerleaders or what, but
probably cheerleaders.
Probably. But here's the thing, man. As long as we can make the playoffs and the Panthers are sitting at home that first Sunday.
Oh, what a dumpster fire in Charlotte, man.
Set.
God, that's awful. Did you see that video of Cam Newton and oh God, what's his name with this hurt right now, all hyped up on pain pills?
Olsen?
Yes. Greg Olsen. Like Cam Newton and Greg Olsen singing karaoke somewhere. It's like, man, you can't go out there and have videos of you singing karaoke, having a good time when y'all playing like you playing. You got to be sad.
Right.
Like the rest of the Panther Nation is.
I know they took it to the Cowboys' first game of the year, but I guarantee if we played again right now, man, I mean, I think it'd be a different story. But you know what? They can say they got beat by the Browns.
They got beat by the Browns, which isn't as much of a slur as it used to be.
No, it's not. But I mean, you still think about the Browns.
Yeah, for sure.
The Browns.
But I don't know, man. Hopefully, I think I'm gonna pick the Browns. I think the Browns are my team. Especially if old Nick, St. Nick decides to go up to Cleveland.
I doubt, man.
He's going to retire in Alabama. But if he does, it's not going to be the end of the world because, I mean, the football needs to go back to normal. It's just been the Alabama show featuring the rest of college football over the last few seasons. And granted, that was great when it first started, and everybody out there can say all you want to about me not being a real fan because I don't really care if we win or lose or not. But y'all don't know what it's like to win this much. Like, you really don't know. Like, it's like, what, we've lost 5 games in the last however many seasons. In
Right.
Nick Saban's era as a college football coach in Alabama, we've lost maybe 5 games. Bowl games included, championships included. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. If we lose and college football can move on, then I'm fine with that. I for the sake of the game, I'm fine with that. But until then, roll motherfucking tide. All right, we're scooting up on an hour. Any final thoughts to leave the folks with? Your
Man,
picks?
I will just tell you, I'm just hoping for a good bowl season. I don't want to see no blowouts. I'd love to make sure that because I think it's the Saturday before New Year's that the
Yep.
2 playoff games are played. I'd love to see some good games. I want to see Notre Dame play. I want to see Oklahoma play. Shit, man, I wouldn't mind seeing come down to the last play of the game to win it. But I will have to tell you this, man. Alabama, Clemson, and if Saban does his job and studies his videos, man, I think Alabama will take it to Clemson just because I think Alabama is more well-rounded than what Clemson is. Clemson is just, you could say four pieces. I know you got special teams, offense, defense, rushing, passing,
Yeah.
and then you got to be able to defend the pass and defend the rush. Clemson can defend the rush, but man, Jesus Christ, they can't even,
Yeah, I'm saying Jalen starts against Oklahoma. Given that we win that game, Tua starts against Clemson if he is healthy. But I think Tua needs to sit the whole Oklahoma game. I don't think he should have come out when he started limping in that one game.
But let's not sleep on Notre Dame either. So
Exactly, not sleep on Notre Dame. Exactly, but who knows? All right, folks, be good people out there. Love you. Mean it. Peace, bitches. Here, let me do an intro on this audio real quick. You good there? Hey guys, how you living? You doing well? Good. Glad to hear that. All right, in this episode, me and my buddy Jason Summers talked about college football and all aspects of it. We threw in sprinkled in a pretty good bit of NFL as well, and did with some bowl predictions and some maybe potential coaching changes in the University of. Plug in your answer here, and you got to listen to find out what we say next. Unless you're watching on YouTube, of course. If you're watching on YouTube, you already know what's happened, and this is just, bonus content for you. Anywho, yeah, so please go to the Facebook page, like the Facebook page, go to the Instagram, go to the Twitter, go to Patreon, MI Stuff, search that on Google and click everything that comes up and subscribe to everything that comes up. Go to the YouTube page, subscribe to that. We're doing really good in downloads. We've got up to 500 downloads a week on average here over the last couple of weeks. So thank you guys for listening. Thank y'all for downloading. More stuff going to be coming to you this week. I think I may be doing another. I'm going to be doing the sports talks more regularly now in the off season, and especially since there's a lot more interesting things going on in the trading world and baseball and all that shit. Also, with college football playoffs literally right around the corner and NFL playoffs right around the corner, there's a lot of stuff going on. So a lot of things are going to be coming your way soon. So be aware of that. And I think that's all I got for you. Yeah. All right. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, episode number 12 of MI Stuff Sports Talk featuring Jason Summers. Enjoy, motherfuckers. Peace, bitches. Click the links at the bottom of the page. Love you. Be good people.